Dead Child Duo Podcast, episode number 45. How are you doing, Alexander?
Doing well, Andy. How are you?
Uh, you know, it's just same thing every week.
Really?
I'm just
Well,
chilling.
I dodged the bullet collectively, along with all my fellow Florida residents. So originally, DCD 45, I know that I talked on Twitter, had the potential to maybe have a guest host.
No, it'd be the Solo Dolo show.
The
I've been
Solo
here
Dolo.
talking. Sponsored by Red Bull, only on the Solo podcast, not this episode.
Oh, man. I could imagine a solo Andy podcast. I wanted to try doing the Al Talks Aliens podcast, and I sat there and I thought, I don't know if I'm good enough. I'm good enough to do.
I listen to a solo podcast.
I can do Let's Plays.
Bill Burr does a solo podcast.
See, but he's super entertaining. I don't know if I really fit that
There's
bill.
a guy named Funky Diabetic. He does an NBA podcast where he just talks to himself.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about doing it because I thought, well, I do Let's Plays, and I do those by myself, and I do streams, and most of my streams, I'm not talking to anybody in those, so, but it's difficult to do a solo episode. I know Daniel of The Reasons I'm Broke did one, and it actually worked out pretty well for him.
No, you
so
just gotta
I don't
edit
know.
it more.
You definitely have to
If
edit
you're by
it more.
yourself, you're gonna have more of the
Lots of silence,
like
I would
those
assume.
moments.
Yeah, I would assume
Yeah.
you'd have lots of silence. The one guy who I listen to frequently who does a solo podcast, it's about supernatural stuff, coincidentally, and you can tell he scripts, if that makes sense. Like, he's got a pretty...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he's reading off a piece of paper, but, like, he has an idea, okay, like, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to talk about this.
Dan Carlin has a completely scripted podcast, Hardcore History. Great podcast if you ever want to check it out. You
Actually,
learn more listening to that podcast than actually in a history class.
I actually might check that out, because I am kind of
Yeah.
a history nerd.
I listened to his World War One series. It's 7 or 8 episode. Each episode's 4 hours long, talking
Yeah.
about World War One. It gets super deep in detail.
There's a lot to cover in World War One, and I kind of hate that what I learned in school about World War One was wildly inaccurate. Like, a lot of people have this... It's a very common thing, at least down here, where people will say World War One was a worthless war because of one random guy who got killed that wasn't very, relevant. Like, this guy was going to ascend to the throne of a country. Like, he was next in line to be king. That is not something to be taken lightly. But in school, it was like, well, everybody just picked a side, and it was just this useless war, and a bunch of people died. It's like, there's a little bit more to that. Franz Ferdinand was...
It's because Otto von Bismarck, he started all the alliances. He's got it for Germany. He got everyone into like alliances and stuff, and then it slowly was just like a bomb waiting to be ignited.
I mean, it definitely became that, and I think it's important historically to try to keep in mind the loss of life in that war was, I believe at the time, the most casualties of any conflict, recorded
I forgot
history.
the exact numbers. I don't remember,
Yeah.
but it was like I wish I knew the exact numbers. I'm gonna throw out hypotheticals. It was really high. Napoleon always said he would win wars because he would outnumber the enemy. Like he said, I could spend 70,000 troops and win the world or whatever. And then France in the first month of World War One lost 70,000 troops in the first month.
Yeah,
That's how,
it was a tremendous loss of life. And to this day, they never moved it, which I think is a good thing, just because of what it conveys to most people is, war is a very damaging thing to societies, but there's piles of bones on some of those battlefields that are stacked pretty high to this day. It's mind-blowing. So
There's mines still out there.
there are, dude. It's funny you mentioned that, because I remember in the 90s there were groups that were raising money to get people to go out and try to clear minefields because kids were getting blown up in them. Anyway, that's God, what a bummer to start the podcast.
So, Alex, what have you been playing / watching?
Jesus, how do we get into that? Anyway, yeah, this week I have been playing a lot of Madden. I did Weekend League. Streams for that were a lot of fun.
Have you played the new game mode?
Yeah, I'll talk about that now. It's not for me. And I mean that in two ways. Number one, I'm saying I don't like it. Number two,
I like it.
I'm not the target audience. I don't want
destroying kids on there.
I don't want to play with DJ Khaled. I don't like the announcer work. I think
I don't listen to audio.
Well, I get that. That makes sense. I don't like the lightened playbooks. Some people like it. Some people don't.
Yeah.
The Superstar KO mode is what I'm talking about, by the way, if you're out there wondering. And it's free to play this weekend, so you can check it out yourself. Yeah. Even if you don't own Madden, you can play it. And I think that's a good thing. So overall, I think it's a good thing because the Madden community overwhelmingly was positive towards it, but it's not for me. But then again, I sit around and I play Madden Ultimate Team, and that's not for everybody either. So
yeah, I mean, we've talked about in the past, it's a change of pace mode. It's not a game seller.
Yeah, and what I would tell them to do is it's something that might get somebody a little bit thirstier and want to, buy the whole drink that is Madden 20. So
the whole game's free this weekend.
Yeah, and to me, it's kind of a glorified demo, if that makes sense. And then
I thought you were trying to say it's just the mode. No, the whole game's free this weekend. Like, you play franchise, you can play online.
Oh, I thought that it was only like half the game was free. I thought they had
it's like,
some stuff that was...
They do it every once in a while. They just do like free weekends where you can just play like Rainbow Six for the weekend for free. Like Xbox does all the time.
Well, let me hope that those noobs get into Madden Ultimate Team and somehow stumble into Weekend League because that's open this weekend anyway. I've been playing Madden 20, been playing World of Warcraft. That's been a lot of fun as well. Other than that, I really haven't played... Oh, I played some Mario Party with my wife on the Switch, and I can't sing that game's praises enough. Mario Party for the Switch, outstanding. Definitely a return to form for the series. And then as far as watching, I've been trying to make my way through the Fast and Furious films because those were favorites of mine in high school. I was definitely the perfect age for it. And as a young adult, my wife likes them as well. And I realized that they're kind of stupid, macho, testosterone-filled action movies. But, they are what they are. So I watched Fast and Furious 1, 2, Too Fast, Too Furious, the Tokyo Drift one, still don't like that one. Fast and Furious, Fast 5, watch those. Rewatched Man of the Year, really good movie by Robin Williams, really underrated, got critically slammed, but I still liked it anyway. Watched Punch Drunk Love, our DCD Film Club pick. Let's see, watched WWE Raw, SmackDown, the whole WWE gauntlet. And then also enjoyed the new Dave Chappelle stand-up that is on Netflix, Sticks and Stones, which there was apparently some controversy surrounding it. And I found out that the controversy wasn't about the stand-up itself. It was because Rotten Tomatoes has it at 0% or something.
The controversy is the stuff he said. And it's just basically people getting mad because they don't know Dave Chappelle's comedy. It's like the same thing with the... Louis C.K. Like, people get mad about what Louis C.K. says, but that's always been his comedy. He's always said that stuff. He's never changed. Dave Chappelle is just saying the stuff he's always said, and people are getting butthurt and acting like he's just saying it to get popular.
I think it was the early 2000s. He had I think it was called Killing Me Softly, and that was one of his first stand-up specials, and that one was just as controversial.
And the
as
Chappelle show, like,
super
you can't,
controversial,
hilarious, great show.
Yeah,
But you can't tell me like it's just Dave Chappelle. It's Dave Chappelle doing Dave Chappelle.
I think we've both been on record here that when it comes to comedy, anything can be turned into a joke. And I think even a former film club selection of Andy's that I can't remember the name of right now, it made fun of World War II concentration camps. Like, they made jokes.
Oh, Life is Beautiful?
Yeah, Life is Beautiful was a comedy set in a concentration camp. Like, Hogan's Heroes is another good example of a comedy that's set in a very dark situation. I really didn't find it to be too controversial. The other thing that I'll say is Dave Chappelle makes fun of everyone. I mean, white people, black people, gay people, you name it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't offended when he made fun of white people. I was like, he has a point. What were you watching? What did you play this
The
week?
main joke off of that I heard was the controversial was apparently someone that was one of the higher ups for the Chappelle show said he couldn't use the F word, the
Yeah.
the
Fingers.
maggot word,
Yeah.
but he's allowed to say the N word. That was like the big like controversy.
To be fair, he
Kinda.
has a point.
Yeah, it has a very valid point.
I mean, if that word is not okay, why is the N word okay? It's very
But-
weird to me.
Playing Madden, watching, unfortunately, 13 Reasons Why Season 3, the most god-awful show ever. It's so bad, but I've seen it. I still haven't finished it. But God, it's so bad.
Just for my clarity and the people listening, correct me if I'm wrong, you hate watch it, right? Like you don't like it, but you watch it anyway.
I'm watching it because it was extremely popular when I was in high school. Season 1. And then Season 2 was like also super popular. And now I just want to know. It's so bad that I don't know why I watch it. It's awful. Like, they do lazy techniques to continue the narrative. They build up characters. They do sudden character development that doesn't, like, next episode they completely forget about. Like, it's so dumb. And they just, like, throw stuff in there. It's awful.
My wife has said the same thing about Orange is the New Black. I don't know much about that show. I've only caught a few episodes as she's been watching it, but she told me last night, she's like, I honestly just can't wait for it to be over. I got into it. It was really good at first. Right now,
I was never into it. I thought it was
okay.
like I thought it was all right for season 1. I was like, it's fine.
You hate watching
And
it.
then-
I love it.
The season 2 was I have it as like a 3 out of 10 on IMDb, which may go down after the season. It's
Jeez.
bad. And then I watched only 2 movies this week. I don't know, just kind of like chilled out, didn't really do anything. I watched P.T. Anderson's first film, Hard 8,
Ooh.
and then I watched Punch Drunk Love, his 4th film.
We'll get into Punch Drunk Love later, but it's
And I wanted
definitely
to
a
watch
departure
Magnolia.
from his other.
And I want to watch Magnolia, Boogie Nights, and Anima. I don't know how to pronounce that one. This is a new movie. I want to watch those before, but I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do the Magnolia one. I've heard it's like 3.5 hours. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You never know.
So moving on into listener questions, we have one here, and this is one that has been around for a bit because we did the NFL special and we missed it. So our bad there. It comes from Cuban Slim.
Yeah, we missed it because of Taylor, but
That is true. Yeah, we had a guest episode and then we had the NFL special. But yeah, Cuban Swim, thanks for being a Patreon backer. We appreciate it. And his question is, what is your opinion on the current NBA draft lottery and how teams get their picks? Not via trade, by the ranking and lottery process. If you were commissioner, what would you propose? And then I think this part was added by Andy, maybe? Bonus, thoughts on tanking and all included without it?
that was all the question.
Oh, okay, my bad. So I'll lead off on this one. So I like the current process. I'm not.
Yeah, I love the current process.
I don't hate it. I didn't like the previous. I don't know the exact odds, but I know the previous system. If you were the worst team, you had a 25% chance of getting the first pick, and you would.
Now the bottom 4 all have the same.
Yeah, so I kind of like that move. The one idea that was thrown out there that I really liked, and I can't credit the person because I forget who originally came up with this idea, is the wheel, if that makes sense, which would be
I don't like that.
a locked I figured you wouldn't. It's a locked rotation where, let's just say hypothetically, this year the Hornets get their first pick, and then it goes from there and it rotates. I do like that idea, but there are flaws to it, specifically with guys maybe picking when they come out so that they can go to a certain team.
No, I mean, if you pick a bust, then you have 30 years until you get the first overall pick again.
That's true. The other system, if I was commissioner, this would be the one that I would choose. I like the wheel. It's a cool idea. But the one that I like even better, and I think this one will be the best, is that you make every rookie a free agent and they just hit free agency.
So it's soccer rules.
Yeah, I kind of like that one because here's why. Okay.
And the Grizzlies will never get good, though. Portland Trailblazers will never get good. Utah Jazz will never get good.
You're probably right. But I think if you put that into place with a hard salary cap, I think they could get good. I don't know.
It's more difficult than the draft.
I don't think
Do you think Memphis gets Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. if they were free agents?
No. You got a point there.
You think New Orleans gets Zion?
Definitely not. I think that was a thank you gift. Thank you for sending Anthony Davis to the Lakers. So here's your first overall pick. Pellies.
You got the chronological order wrong, but they got a pick before Anthony Davis was traded.
I know, but everybody knew Anthony Davis was out. He was going somewhere else. Yeah. And then
they could have just been like, "You're stuck here for a year."
The Cavs.
F you.
Well, that was my suggestion. I was told that I'm a jerk for saying that because I would have been like, you know what, Anthony Davis, we have you under contract. If you want,
but then they completely just like they won the trade. Like the Lakers didn't win that trade.
They did. What the Pellies got back was definitely worthwhile and worth noting, and I think historically they will win that trade. And then finally, when it comes to tanking, so really the current system, I like it the way it is. I wouldn't change it, but if I did have to do it, I would do the free agency thing. And then thoughts on tanking. I hate it. I hate it for the fans, but I think it's a reality. I think it's when you hit the reset button on a franchise, and being an Orlando Magic fan, I definitely know what this is like. Andy's a Celtics fan. He's seen his team hit the reset button as well. You basically trade everything that's not bolted down, and you have, for lack of a better term, young players and scrubs on expiring contracts. So it's kind of a reality. It's an unfortunate one, but it's a reality. Hate it for the fans, though.
You gotta deal with it.
Would you change it, Andy? Do you like the current system? Sounds like you like the.
Keep it the exact same way it currently is.
How do you feel about tanking as a fan?
You just gotta accept it. Just like paying taxes. You don't like it, but you gotta accept it.
Paying taxes. My God. You ever want to, when you get to be an adult and you start making more money, like when I was younger, I wasn't making as much money as I am now. Over the years, I've gotten better with it. But as that goes on, I've jumped several income brackets, obviously, and when you see how much you pay in taxes a year, ooh, man, it hurts. It hurts. Even after your so-called return, where you get some of it back, like, I don't know. Anyway.
So, Alexander, Nintendo Direct happened.
God, it was so cool. So much good stuff.
I knew nothing about it until you put it in the doc, like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention a couple things that I was really excited about because I know I ramble on incessantly about the Xbox platform, and everybody I know gets kind of tired of that. But there's some really cool stuff going on with Switch right now. Like they're bringing out 20 Super Nintendo games starting tomorrow. Yeah. I will not list those, but there's some really good ones in there. Super Mario Kart,
Nintendo game of all time, Super Mario World.
You know, that's my wife's favorite Mario. I'm assuming it's your favorite Mario game.
I just said it's the greatest Nintendo game of all time.
I just wanted to make sure. But they got some really cool ones in there, like Super Mario World, Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, highly underrated, just because it came out like really late in the Super
Link
Nintendo.
to the Past.
Yeah, Super Metroid's in there.
Kirby's Dream Course, the Kirby golf game, where it's like the weird bouncy ball.
It's kind of fun though. So that's all coming out. Fatal Fury is coming to Smash Ultimate. Banjo-Kazooie hit Smash Ultimate today. Really happy about them bringing back the home run mode in Smash. That was always a favorite of mine on the GameCube version. Super Smash Brothers Melee, I think, was the one on GameCube. Regardless, it was something that me and my friends would play for hours. Assassin's Creed Rebel Collection coming out. Overwatch is coming to Switch, which I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. You know, Overwatch is a big deal, man. Animal Crossing looks good as expected. Luigi's Mansion looks great as expected, and they're even getting Doom 64 on there. So a lot of cool stuff coming for the Switch. What's the next Switch game that you're gonna buy, Andy?
Zelda,
Zelda,
whatever it's called. I don't remember what it's called. The remake.
Oh, the remake, yeah. Coincidentally, that's my friend Julian from Lazy Gaming Guys. That's his favorite Zelda game ever. So.
And then after that, will be Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Pokemon.
I don't know about Luigi's Mansion yet. I don't know. Maybe.
Dude, I'm sold. After I played the one on GameCube, way back when, that series has a place in my heart.
Yeah.
So, really looking forward to it. And it comes out on Halloween. I think that's like the best launch date they could have.
The spookiest day of the year.
Yeah, the spookiest day of the year. I mean, I love it, though. It's really good. Anyway, moving on.
Nope, hold on. I'm going to drop a topic on you like it was dropped today.
Whoa.
Did you see Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 3 came out today?
Wait, what?
Yeah, Plants vs. Zombies dropped a new game today, like the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare series.
Was this announced?
It just came out today, unannounced. Plants vs. Zombies Battle for the Neighborville.
How much is it?
I have no idea.
Is it on Xbox?
Yep.
I might stream that.
$29.99.
I might pick that up, dude, because I actually...
Doesn't officially launch until October 18th, but folks who purchase the $29.99 Founders Edition gain instant access to a 6-week special pre-launch content. The first week gives players blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it comes out October 18th, but you can play it today if you buy it.
It's really cool. I love the first two. The first two were really fun. A lot of fun. So, good stuff there, man.
The game will cost $10. Wait, hon. It costs $10 more if you don't buy the early edition. So just go ahead and buy it now if you want it.
Yeah, I think they came out at $39.99 the first two, and I bought the first one off of a friend for $20 and just fell in love with it. And then the second one, I don't even know what that launched at, but I bought the special edition and did an unboxing video on it that to this day still gets hits. Anyway.
And before we get to Film Club, we did a survey. I'm going to do a weekly survey. It's probably going to be in the description of each video. Just asking you guys, just random questions, what you thought about the episode. But I'm going to put it here. I asked, what is your favorite segment of DCD? And entertainment won with 44.4% of the vote. The Film Club came in second with 33.3%, and sports at 22.2%. No one voted for the intro. I think that's my favorite topic. But
I mean,
entertainment talk was the winner.
I think I have the most fun with Film Club.
I like the intro. I don't know.
I like.
It's more spontaneous conversation.
I do like the intro.
We talked about World War I. Like that wasn't a topic or anything.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I feel like we need more buffoonery on this podcast. Yeah. And I think we also need more listeners. So maybe tell a friend about the podcast, because our numbers in August were pretty bad.
Biased Facebook ads.
Those Facebook ads, they were working. As crazy as that sounds, when we were putting... Well, I think I'm going to buy some Twitter ads, because I've heard Twitter's even better as far as like what you get for your money. So thanks to everybody who participated in the survey. And I guess we'll find out what the fan pick or the Patreon pick
if we talk about the Film Club selection this week, Punch Drunk Love. It is a movie directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, starring Adam Sandler, Emily Watson, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and it's about this like psychologically troubled guy who is running this business. He runs into his sister's coworker, and they like fall in love with each other, but at the same time he's getting scammed by a phone sex line company, and he's kind of trying to he's getting hunted down by these people, trying to spoil it, while he's falling in love with this woman. And it's like a bunch of stories congealed into one. It's a really It's a rom-com movie, kind of.
Kind of. It's another movie that
It's like a rom-com dramedy style.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I remember when this came out thinking it's probably the most different performance that we had seen from Adam Sandler. I will also say that aside from Spanglish, this is probably the only one where I think he plays a role like this.
You don't like his performance as Jill in Jack and Jill?
I gotta be honest with you, I'm not a real big fan. I mean,
yeah, most people, surprisingly not. That movie's awful.
Well, I mean, I think so. To give you some backstory, like I don't mind Adam Sandler comedy. I thought he was funny on SNL.
Yeah,
I liked Billy Madison. I liked The Waterboy. I didn't like The Waterboy as much as Billy Madison, but
I like it's like the new ones, like the Ridiculous Six.
yeah, like I've watched a few of his Netflix original movies. I think it was The Do-Over is the one that stands out in my mind, and that was good too.
That was all right.
So I like his comedies, but yeah. I think that what stood out with this film for critics, for myself, for even the director, this is a side of Adam Sandler that we had not seen before. So I think that's part of why I like this movie so much. Andy, what were your thoughts on this movie? I'll let you lead off.
So this is my second time watching it.
Okay.
I really enjoyed. I want to bring something up after you talk about it, but visually this movie is amazing and has a lot of, like in the opening it shows like the 2001-esque like color, like when he's going through space in 2001, like the colors are everywhere and the sound, and it's kind of like this. The whole movie is about color and sound, and how everything contrasts with each other. Like going into spoiler territory if you haven't seen the movie, it's on Hulu and Vudu for free, or it's on Hulu and it's on Vudu for free. Like he's wearing blue the entire time, she's wearing red. They contrast, and then like there's points in the movie where it's like super silent. Like the best point to like say this is whenever they're on a date, they're at the dinner place. He goes into the bathroom, and it's so loud when he's smashing up the bathroom. Like it's louder than normal. Like it's peaking the. It's really loud, and then it goes from there to super quiet when they're walking to their car after he gets kicked out. Yeah, it's like a contrast in like how like she's like calming him down, and he's like falling in love with her, but his old world's collapsing around him. Like all his sisters are constantly like yelling at him and stuff.
Yeah.
Like he can't catch a break. Like his whole times, he like eventually like comes out and he like finally opens up and he tells his brother-in-law, he's like, "Hey man, I don't like being myself. I cry sometimes." And then instantly the next day his sister like openly tells everyone in the office, like no care for his secrecy or anything. I don't know. It's an interesting movie. I like Paul Thomas Anderson as the director, but I don't know. I don't like it that much.
It's fair. So obviously I picked this movie, and it wasn't like a gag pick or anything. So I mean, everybody out there knows already that I really love. Freddy Got Fingered was kind of a gag, and
Road Trip wasn't.
I mean, it's just because it was a movie that
I'm just goofing you.
Yeah. So like this movie, I don't even remember when I first saw it. I couldn't tell you. I have no clue. I just know that I've seen it, thought it was brilliant, and I would say I probably watched it about 10 years ago, and here I am again watching it.
2002.
Yeah, so like I watched it well after it came out, but I can't really pinpoint when. I love this movie for a lot of reasons. So first off, I think it's shot so well. The cinematography is unbelievably good. The opening shot is so iconic. I actually got a little deja vu from that opening shot. I'm like, oh man, I remember seeing this, but I don't know where or when.
I mean, the cinematography, like the cinematography music is amazing in that you feel his anxiety, you feel the awkwardness.
Yeah,
Like you're in the movie. Like
yeah,
you relate
like
to his character. He's super weird, and they kind of flip the rom-com on its head, and like how rom-coms are like super stereotypical, like two hot people, like a hot dude and a hot chick, they're probably perfect. But this is like two awkward, weird people falling in love, and you feel everything.
He's emotionally scarred. I mean, his whole life he's been berated by his siblings in a really negative way. They make that really evident at the beginning of the movie. I love how they use the score to kind of introduce the idea of the anxiety that he suffers with. And then, as Andy mentioned, you know, when Emily Watson's character is around, everything's quiet. He's calm.
Yeah.
He's actually able to be his true self. And, you know, they really capture, maybe part of the reason why I love this movie so much is Adam Sandler's life in this is a very quiet and lonely one. He's a loner. He lives by himself. Yeah. He works a lot by himself. He doesn't have many people that he interacts with. And in my early 20s, that was me. I lived in a crappy apartment that I loved my crappy apartment, but it was a crappy 1-bedroom, practically studio apartment. I think it was 600 square feet, something really tiny like that. And I really didn't have people to talk to. And he struggles with that too. He doesn't have anybody to talk to. He has nobody to talk to about all this anxiety. The only people he does interact with are his coworkers, who aren't going to be much help, and his sisters, who are the reason he doesn't like who he is in the first place. So I really identified with the loneliness of it. I think it's a great love story. I think it's a realistic love story. I know people that have had meetings like this, like where she's like, I saw a picture of you and I purposely came here in the hopes of meeting you. And, you know, and that's where it just kind of all jumped off from. And it's beautifully done. It's well written, beautifully shot. The score is an original score, extremely well done. To this day, people still talk about the soundtrack to this movie, the theme, and all that.
There's movies that mimic the soundtrack or the score.
Yeah, and I don't even know if maybe this is mimicking something else. I have no clue. But I think overall, I think this is Adam Sandler's best performance, period, ever. I don't know if he'll ever top it. And I think that's what makes this movie so good to me. Directorially, like, it's just done so well. Because of this movie, I kind of want to check out some of the director's other movies just to see what they're like, even though I've heard they're completely different.
Yeah, this is like this movie, he completely matures as a director, and it's like completely different after this. Like, he had like this and Boogie Nights are like kind of the only two things that are similar. And then after this, he has like There Will Be Blood and like Phantom Thread. And he does like a lot of shorts stuff now.
Well, overall, I just think I love movies like this where every single thing that happened is realistic. It doesn't take too many creative liberties. It doesn't require me to suspend my disbelief or anything like that. People do get extorted all the time. It happens so much more than you would think, and it happens to a lot of normal people. And it's just also Philip Seymour Hoffman is amazing in this. Like, he's perfect.
Amazing everything.
He is, but I mean, he was just really good in this. Emily Watson's performance, can't say enough about that one either. Just great acting, great writing, great directing, amazing score. I feel like it's a timeless movie too. It's not dated at all. Like a lot of movies from 2002, it feels dated. This one looks like something that could have come out last year. So overall, I gave this one a...
I'm not done talking about it, but...
Oh, let's go. Keep talking, Andy. Usually you don't talk about my picks that much.
Oh, no, I wanted you to talk about something before I brought something up.
Okay.
First, going on the best Adam Sandler movie thing, there is something coming out this year that may compete with it, which is Uncut Gems. It comes out this Christmas. It's directed by the Safdie brothers. They did... I'm gonna say they did Good Time, which is a great movie from 2017. You should probably check that out when it comes
Okay.
out, obviously. Um, like I really like Good Time is a great movie. You should go check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. And then, what else was I gonna say? Oh, so, so this movie has a hidden meaning behind it that kind of there's. Have you ever heard the conspiracy theory about this movie?
No.
So this movie, all right, is secretly the origin story of Superman.
Please explain.
All right, I have to read this paragraph. It's always a very small little detail that seems to ignite all my fan theories. I'm reading this thing off Reddit, by the way.
Okay.
And there's also like a 12-minute, 15-minute video explaining it. In the case for Punch Drunk Love, it was when Barry, played by Adam Sandler, said he had 7 sisters. As a fan of astronomy, I know there's a star cluster called Pleiades that is nicknamed the Seven Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
What's up with that? Well, Superman has an origin in outer space, and what's funny is whenever Barry is around his sisters, he gets freaked out. He can't control himself, and his sisters represent his weakness in the film, as in they are kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
His suit certainly tells a Superman story. He starts off with a blue suit, and so it's a blue suit, blue tie, and slowly throughout the movie, he like gains his suit. Like near the end, he gets a red tie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the final shot of the movie. Whenever the love interest hugs him, she kind of like puts her dress around him like the cape, like it's wrapped around his neck, goes back on his back. His girlfriend in the movie is Leonard, LL, like Lois Lane. Superman can fly. By the end of the movie, Barry exploits the frequent flyer program and gets 1 million miles of free air travel where he can fly anywhere he wants for the rest of his life. When he flies to Hawaii in the movie, he doesn't bring any baggage. He goes by himself. He's just like Superman would fly. He wouldn't bring anything. He would just go. Superman has super strength. Does Barry? Well, Barry in the very beginning jokes about the unbreakable plunger, and then instantly breaks it. And also, whenever he goes to the bathroom, he just completely dismantles it. He breaks 3 planes of glass at his sister's house with one hand. Just goes breaks them all. So he has super strength, and there's like a whole bunch of other stuff, but it's secretly the Superman origin story.
That is the most square peg in a round hole thing I've ever heard in my life.
Nah, man, it makes sense if you watch the 15-minute video.
I guess so. I mean, you can make anything make sense if you start.
And then like Dustin Hoffman, he has like a villain name in the movie. He's the Mattress Man. That's a villain's name.
I'm so sorry. It's a beautiful love story that features
Nah,
realistic.
bro, it's a superhero movie.
No, it's not. Oh my God! Don't cheapen something that's a masterpiece. Like this movie, to me, it's borderline perfection. I think it's so well done. The performances are outstanding. There isn't a single thing in this movie where you go, they should have done that different. It's just great. It's wonderful. It's weird. The characters are weird, but we're all weird, and the frequent flyer thing, by the way, was hilarious, like unintentionally in the movie. This guy's running around like a maniac buying all this pudding to exploit some poorly done promotion. It's great. I could see somebody doing that.
I mean, I don't believe the theory. It's a huge conspiracy theory.
It's hilarious, but
there's a lot more. Like the whole movie.
I will watch the video, but come on, dude.
It's like a 15-minute video talking about how the movie's about Superman.
Dude.
I remember what I was gonna say earlier. Whenever he's like leaves her after the day, he like takes her home. And he's like running around. And he goes to the exit door and opens it. That took me out of the movie completely when it played the like average iPhone alarm noise. It completely like took me out of the movie.
I didn't like that either. I mean, that would be one thing. I know I said there wasn't one thing that I would change, but I mean, you could probably make that argument. However, I immediately like threw it aside because the shot where he's running around the hallways and he's lost.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a memorable scene and a well done one. as well. Like you just really, I don't know, man, you really feel it. Like it evokes an emotion in you, and it's a movie that as many times as I've seen it, I never get tired of it. So, out of 10, what'd you rate it, Andy?
I gave it a 6.
That's higher than I expected. I saw... We should have like a little segment for this. Dumbest Sphinx gave it a 2.5 out of 5.
He gave it a 5. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 out of 5. I actually gave this one... For me, it's a 7.5 out of 10. Almost wanted to give it an 8. It's really good. And if you're out there wondering, should I check this out or not? As Andy said, if you have Hulu, it streams on there for free. On Vudu, I think you can stream it free with ads, and it's $4.99 if you want to own it digitally on Vudu. So pretty affordable. It's a good one. I bought it this week. I couldn't believe my luck. I was like, wow, this is $4.99. I can own it for good. Great, because I was almost about to buy the Criterion Collection version of this one. Yeah, the Criterion one is it looked really good, but
you should.
I'm trying to save money, dude.
So the fan pick for this week, we did a little survey, as I said before. We had 9 responses.
Yep.
And the winner is Daniel, or The Reasons I'm Broke. His pick: Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
A movie that I've never seen.
Wright.
Never seen it. Looked interesting. Never saw it.
I've never seen it, but I'm a fan of Edgar Wright.
I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I actually have pretty, I mean, reasonable but high expectations. So I'm also a big fan of Michael Cera. I think he's hilarious because he plays the same character in every film, so maybe this will be different. Anyway.
Also, fun fact.
Yeah.
Little hint to my next pick.
Okay.
In Punch Drunk Love, there's 2 similar actors in my pick. Like 2 of the main actors in Punch Drunk Love are actors in my pick next week.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to work on that one.
Yeah.
Figure out what it could be. And then going into, I guess we're gonna have to force it on the Patreon people, but pretty soon, man. October's gonna be around the corner, and
oh yeah, we're only doing spooky movies in October.
Spooky movies, man.
I get to pick 2 horror movies.
Yeah.
The fans get to pick 1. You get to pick 1 because I already looked at it. So not
fun.
Fun.
I'm like a kid.
But I get to pick the Halloween pick. Like I get to pick the pure. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil what I'm gonna pick, but like the most Halloween. My first one's gonna be just like a random horror movie. I already know what it is. Not really Halloween themed. But then for the Halloween week, I'm picking a Halloween themed movie.
I gotta be honest, man. I'm like a kid in a candy store when you tell me you have to pick a horror movie. Like I'm gonna have a hard time picking just one. You know, like
I get to pick 2. So
yeah, I know. Even 2 would be hard for me because like I like horror movies. You like horror movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I seem to remember you owning quite a few. So looking forward to that. It's just around the corner. Anyway, moving on to sports. Ezekiel Elliott finally gets the extension he's been holding out for. Yeah.
Gets a 6-year, $90 million contract, highest paid running back in NFL history. And he's the first Cowboys player to break $100 million if you add this to his original contract.
I gotta be honest, man. I feel like he's deserved it, right? I mean,
yeah. He's not. It's what he deserves. Like, not overpaid, not underpaid.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I've always said this. Like, oh, geez, I'm so sorry if you guys heard that. I'll have to try to remember to cut that out. But oh, okay, good. So
I made his desktop audio, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there we go. So when the Gurley contract came through, and I'm trying to get the full number here.
It's going Sport Trek.
Yeah, I want to say he got just a little bit more than Gurley, and
he's highest paid.
And to me, I think that was fair because I think that in the NFL, this will be controversial to say it, but
Todd Gurley is 4-year, $57 million.
Yeah, I think Todd Gurley is definitely the second best running back in the NFL, but right now I think Ezekiel Elliott is the best, and I know a lot of people credit the O-line. Every great running back has a good O-line. Barry Sanders used to buy his O-line Rolexes at the end of the year if he'd rush for more than 1,000 yards because he knew I'm nothing without those guys up front. So Elliott's the best running back in the league right now. He's far exceeded what I thought he would do coming out of Ohio State, and I thought he was going to be good. I just didn't know he was going to be this good. So it's a good deal. They signed their right tackle a day beforehand. I think they're going to get a Dak Prescott deal done, no doubt, and I also think an Amari Cooper deal is coming. The Cowboys pay their dudes. I mean, if you play for the Cowboys and you make yourself worth it, they pay you.
Byron Jones is the odd man out. I don't think you can pay him.
I don't think so either, but I think that he's probably the guy who I think could be easiest replaced. Again, might not be a popular opinion, but I think Amari Cooper and Ezekiel Elliott, they're irreplaceable to me because without them, Dak Prescott.
Out of all the players, I think Dak is the most replaceable.
You're probably right. But I really think they're gonna pay him. So,
I mean, it's not real football, but fantasy football wise, do you know how many quarterbacks each year have a top 12 performance?
Yeah, 12.
No, like each week. There's 17 weeks. Do you know how many different quarterbacks have at least one top 12 performance a year?
God, it's probably like about 10.
It's 40.
Oh, okay.
40 different quarterbacks have a top 12 performance in fantasy football every year.
Well, you're right on that. Like when it comes to fantasy football, I always tell people you should load up on your running backs, wide receivers.
But it brings to the point, like you can. Dak Prescott isn't a top 5 quarterback. He's not an elite quarterback.
No.
You can throw in another dude and get pretty much the same performance.
It's just
close to it.
It's just there's so few guys that are above average in the NFL. Like when you see Nick Foles getting the deal he got, it's not about how many quarterbacks can put up consistent production that isn't bad. It's how many available quarterbacks are there. Unfortunately, there's not a plethora of quarterbacks available out there. Drafting one has proven to always been a shot in the dark. Even with the best scouting in the world, Ryan Leaf got picked number 2. I mean, Jamarcus Russell went number 1. Like, it's tough to actually replace a quarterback because there's so few options available.
I think it's easier than.
I
feel like if you build outside in and not do the Browns move where you just go pick quarterbacks and pray to God it works out. If you build like the O-line, the wide receiver core, halfback core, like the running back core first.
Yeah.
And then get a quarterback. It's better. Like Josh Rosen isn't good. Or I didn't mean to say. Josh Rosen is good.
Mm-hmm.
But his situation has been awful. He's never had a good offensive coordinator. He's never had a good offense to play under.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's going to say he's a bad quarterback because of that.
Yeah, he was in a no-win situation, and I'm kind of interested.
He's currently in a no-win situation.
You're right. And
he's in an awful offense.
And I kind of wonder, to me, the Cardinals didn't make enough moves to make them more competitive this year. And I know some people will disagree with that, but I really just don't see that the current Cardinals roster being that much better than last year's Cardinals roster. So I think Kyler Murray is going to struggle a lot.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of growing pains. And I'll be very interested to see how quickly Cardinals fans basically turn on him. Because they turned on Rosen quick. I mean, it was unbelievable how fast they were like, screw him, trade him. hey, Giants, do you want him?
Yeah.
We're getting
Cliff
Kyler
Kingsbury
Murray.
can be the top 5 offensive mind in football. It doesn't matter if you don't have anyone playing.
Yeah, and I also like have questions about that because there have been some really good offensive minds that have gone into situations.
Lane Kiffin.
I mean, hey, I think Lane Kiffin is brilliant. I think he's crazy, but he's brilliant.
Yeah.
And
Didn't do that well in the NFL, though.
Well, because he's crazy. And he was playing for Al Davis, who Al Davis was massively successful as an owner. He knew the game of football more than pretty much every owner in the league, in my opinion. But he was kind of set in his ways. And he was tough to work with. Every coach that's ever been in Oakland has said that. So Lane Kiffin, being crazy, goes there and does a Lane Kiffin like he always does. I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Murray does. Anyway, this deal for Elliott's a good one. And speaking of quarterbacks, Jared Goff just got paid.
Highest guaranteed contract ever. He gets a 4-year, $134 million, $110 million guaranteed. He deserves it. He wins football games. I know I'm being I'm contradicting myself what I just said.
Yeah.
But Jared Goff has led you to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He works for the offense. Him and Sean McVay, like you can say, I've seen people on Twitter go, he's just as good as Sean McVay lets him. But does he enable Sean McVay to be such a good coach? Like we've never seen Sean McVay without Jared Goff, but we've seen Jared Goff without Sean McVay.
Why does nobody ever say that about Drew Brees? I mean, we could say Sean Payton's system made Drew Brees what he was because he only had one good year in San Diego. People forget that. He had a couple really bad ones in San Diego, by the way.
I mean, people say about Tom Brady all the time.
Well, I hate so they're all system quarterbacks. I hate to break that to you, like guy that's criticizing quarterbacks that he's just a system QB. They're all systems. You build a system around your QB.
You don't win football with one player.
So Jared Goff has kind of been an interesting case to me. By the way, I think he deserves this money 100%. And I think it's just like the Flacco situation in Baltimore. When he won the Super Bowl, it's like, well, now we have to pay this guy. He took the Rams to the Super Bowl. They have a lot of good players on that team that got the Rams there as well, but he was a big part of that. And when you have a guy, like, you're not going to let him hit the open market because you probably would end up paying more. So I think that this is a good, well-timed contract. The guarantee, I don't think, is something that the Rams are worried about at all. I think they have full expectation of having him play out this contract. Also, the owner of the Rams is loaded. He married into the Walmart fortune, so I mean, money's not really an object. The salary cap is probably the only thing limiting the spending there. The other thing too is when they're opening that new stadium in, I think, a year, you don't want something like this where you don't want a Dak Prescott situation where it's like, hey, we might not have a quarterback next year. That's not good for season tickets. So, good move to keep Goff. And everybody that says he's a system QB and, he didn't play that well under Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher had them running a joke of an offense. It was like basically a high school offense, what they were running. And teams knew what they were going to run before they even ran it. McVay coming in was a godsend, and I think it really saved Jared Goff's career. A couple more years under Fisher, and he probably would have had to go somewhere else and try to latch on. So I like Jared Goff, and I hate the system QB thing because they're all system QBs. Yeah.
So we're going to quickly do our pick'em because we're running out of time. So, Alexander, first game, football is back. Hopefully it's not as bad as last year's. That absolute stinker between the Falcons and Eagles. It was like 18-13 final score. Yeah. The Packers versus the Bears. Who do you have?
I got the Bears here, man.
And I'm going with the Packers.
All right.
And then next up we have the Falcons at Vikings. And I'm going to give it to the Falcons.
Like the Falcons here. They just signed Matt Bryant.
He's, the curse.
The curse is on hold. If
you don't have him, your team sucks.
Yeah, the curse is on hold, so Falcons.
And then we have the Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills.
I like the Bills here.
We have the Tennessee Titans at the Cleveland Browns. Gonna go with the Browns.
I'm gonna go with Browns here. Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs at Jacksonville Jaguars. The Chiefs, I've never seen them lose a week 1 game. Andy Reid always throws down performances week 1. So I'm going to go with it.
I got the Jags.
All right, I respect it. Next, we have the Los Angeles Rams at the Carolina Panthers. Who do you got? I'll let you take this one first.
I like the Panthers this year, but I like the Rams even more. So I'm taking the Rams.
I'm going with the Panthers at home.
It's going to be a good one. That'll be a good one to watch.
And then we have the Ravens at Dolphins. Ravens in a blowout.
Yeah, Dolphins, I feel silly saying that they were going to finish second in their division. I wanted to bring that up really quickly. After the trades they made, nope, not happening anymore. Good luck, Fitzmagic, with no Laramie Tunsil. You're going to be running for your life. Ravens.
Then we have the Washington Redskins at the Philadelphia Eagles. Going with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I like the Eagles here too.
We have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Seattle Seahawks. Continually picking the home team, going with the Seahawks as it's Chucky Milk time anywhere.
Yeah, Bengals, it's going to be a rough year, man. Seattle's a 9.5-point favorite here. Going with them.
We have the Colts at Chargers. Going with the Chargers.
Chargers.
Giants at Cowboys. Going with the Cowboys.
Now they got Elliott back. You got to go with the Cowboys.
Going with the trend of picking only home teams for a while. Now we go to Detroit at Arizona. And I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals.
This is a tough one. I'm going with the Lions.
We have our teams up against each other. The San Francisco 49ers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'm going with my home team, the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm going with Bucko Bruce winning his first game in Tampa Bay.
Heck yeah. Love Bruce Arians.
Me too.
We had the Pittsburgh Steelers at the New England Patriots. New England, Foxborough. It's easy.
Yeah, if it was in Pittsburgh, I'd actually be taking the Steelers, but I'm going to take the Patriots here. It's going to be a good one to watch, though.
And then we have our Monday Night Football. We got doubleheader.
Yeah.
We got the Houston Texans at New Orleans Saints. I'm going with the Saints.
Another one that I think will be fun, but I'm going Saints here.
Yeah, and then we have the Denver Broncos versus the Oakland Raiders. I don't think it's going to be fun. I think the Broncos are just going to smash the Raiders.
I'm going to go Raiders here.
All right. So there's our picks for week number 1. I'm probably going to throw out a poll for the Thursday night matchup, see what you guys think. And also, before we get to it, I did ask you guys who your Super Bowl picks were, and everyone that responded to the poll, who do you think won that got the most votes for a Super Bowl win? If you had to guess public perception.
Eagles.
They actually didn't get a single vote. 3 out of 9 pick the Cowboys.
Colby took the survey 3 times. I refuse to believe otherwise.
2 out of 9 pick the Saints. The Chargers got a vote. The Giants got a vote. The Patriots got a vote.
The Giants got a vote.
Yeah, the Giants got a vote. And then the one that I think is either Daniel or Bobby put whoever y'all are going with.
That had to be Daniel. I'm surprised Daniel didn't do what he normally does. Fun fact for you. Daniel, he likes to troll people. So we were at a bar one time, and this guy asked him, "Oh, who's your favorite football team?" He goes, "The Houston Oilers."
Is that gonna be like the Boston Red Sox? Or...
The guy just couldn't say anything. Yeah. It was great. It was beautiful.
All right, so that's gonna be it for episode number 45. Take it away, Alex.
So, want to remind everybody about deadchannelduo.com. You go there, you can check out us on any platform. So maybe you're checking us out on YouTube and you want the audio-only version or vice versa. Go to deadchannelduo.com. There's a link for every single platform that we're on. T-shirts. You can buy a T-shirt. Supports the podcast. We get about $6 every time you buy one of those T-shirts. The link's in the description for that. And then our Patreon. I want to give Daniel, Bobby, and Jared all a huge thank you for being backers on Patreon. Daniel and Bobby are on the Andy tier, and Jared's on the gold tier. We're going to have to contact Jared and see what he wants to play with us on a stream again, which was
I did delete World of Warcraft, so hopefully let's pick that again.
I'm assuming he's going to pick something else, but I don't care what he picks. Whatever he wants, man, we'll play it because it actually ended up being a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun on that. We laughed so hard. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. So
I mean, I didn't, but
well, you were laughing, dude. Like
no,
when you broke the game within a minute, that was hilarious. That, by the way, that stream, the archive is up on my channel if you want to check it out. But anyway, I want to thank them for being Patreon backers. If you want to back the show, you can do so for as little as $1. You get early access. You get to suggest a movie for Film Club every 3 weeks. And there's all kinds of other perks. Go to patreon.com/DCD podcast. You check it out there. And if you want to help us out, but you're saying, hey, Alex, I don't have any money, that's cool. You can go to iTunes, leave us a review on there. That's free. It helps us out. Andy? Anything else you want to talk about?
I would say that's that, Mattress Man.
Really? That's that? No 49ers talk? No.
I'm sorry, I quoted the movie we watched this week.
No, it just caught me off guard. I was like, wow.
I mean, there's nothing to say. We're gonna win.
Okay.
28-0.
We should put we'll have to figure this out afterwards, but we should put like a friendly bet on it. Just see if we could make it a little bit fun.
It's a straight pick 'em in Vegas. It's literally
it's even. Yeah, it's even. So yeah, we might have to put like a fun bet.
Oh, by the way, for people out there in Vegas and you care about my expertise, because I do win some money doing Vegas, don't bet on the high spreads. Typically speaking, week one's extremely big spreads never work out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see a team like, I forgot who you said it was a negative 9.5 point favorite, don't take that. It normally never works out. Teams are always funky week one, and I would advise you to avoid it.
Good tip from an expert there. So, as Andy said, that's that. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week for DCD 46.
Bye-bye.